Yo yo yo, what's up boys? Playing some Olorun today, showing you guys how to pressure, or maybe the best way to get MMR. One of the best ways, for sure. Is that you're always gonna have like the AMCs and the Izanamis. Those are probably some of the more brain dead ways to do it. But I honestly think, at least comparatively to Izanami, I think Olorun has more pressure early than Izanami does, for sure, in most matchups. This character, at least while Mannequins is in the game, and while Jade Map is still a thing, he does incredibly well. And regardless of how good or bad this Charybdis is, I mean, I have no idea. Regardless of how good or bad this player is, it'll still represent exactly how much pressure this character can output early game. We're trading incredibly well with it right now. So we got one of those. Maybe I shouldn't use my rockets. Maybe it's not worth just for that. Charybdis actually had some pretty decent early clear, so I've heard. So I've been told. I don't really see her in duel very often, but... So she's actually pressuring me, kind of. I say kind of because she out-cleared me, yes, but look at her health bar and look at mine. And then you have to take into consideration, I have Shell. And she has beads, which she kind of has to have. Actually, maybe not as Charybdis. Because at Charybdis, you could probably just 3/ult out of Olorun ults. Maybe you don't need beads, but usually people need beads versus Olorun, so that gives them even more pressure. It's like the same Heimdall effect. Group up the minions for my 2 here. It's like the Heimdall effect where Heimdall can outbox some other hunters early game. Even if he can't outbox them, he can because they have beads, because they need to have beads, and he has Shell. Or something else of that nature. You know, you used to buy Med when Med was really good, but... As far as whether you level the 1 or the 2, I think it's personal preference. The 1 has more burst, the 2 has more boxing potential. Usually what happens for me is it just depends on the game. Sometimes I level the 1, sometimes I level the 2, sometimes I level them evenly. It really just depends. By no means am I an Olorun main. I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude who plays dude stuff, you know? Should be able to apply 3 stacks to this relatively easily. 3 stacks on that, 3 stacks on that, and that thing dies super quickly. I wish there was a buff over there or something. It feels so bad to walk all the way over there for like 26 gold. I understand it gives you experience as well, but as far as gold goes, you're literally going over there and getting half of an HP pot. Like, that feels terrible in my opinion. I don't know. Also, his early game is slightly better now that he has a chalice. But he's delaying this Transcendence really big time. Because he doesn't have triple buff control. He's only getting 1 buff. Because sometimes I feel like I need to slow down when I speak. Because I start stuttering and it's just like a horrible... Dude, I lost my whole train of thought there, dude. Oh my goodness, man. It's a rippling effect of just... I start stuttering, and because I'm stuttering, I talk faster, and since I'm talking faster, I stutter more. Gosh dang, dude. Gosh dang, dude. I think we can ult for pressure here. Yep. Absolutely massive. Nice. Returned away, the rockets killed her, I'm assuming. I checked just in case Mannequins was what actually killed her, but... kind of a low chance. Mannequins doesn't do that much damage. Over time, it does do a lot of damage, but, you know, it's not doing a ton of burst damage. It only does a lot of damage because it's ticking on you for so long. Personally, I'm not a fan of Olorun. I think he has a relatively boring kits, but I also just don't like ranged characters in general, usually in duel. I have a lot more fun. I think I want this. I think breastplate's definitely the play. I have a lot more fun on melee characters in general, but especially in duel, than I do the backline characters. So maybe I'm just biased. I don't know. It depends on how you guys feel about Olorun. But as far as if you don't really care, you know, whether you enjoy a god or not, you just want to know the best strategy in duel, one of the best, and how to get MMR. And I'm not trying to say Olorun is the best god in duel, because he's definitely not. However, if you ban correctly, you have proper bans, you know, you're not letting gods like Uller through. If you ban correctly, Olorun is definitely a top, like, 3, top 5 pick. He is very good at what he does, and he's very hard for people to deal with. Especially since a lot of people may know that Olorun's strong, but they still don't understand the concept of his level 3 is... Dude, his level 3 is so beautiful. I mean, you guys saw it against this Charybdis. Although I didn't have as much pressure as I wanted, because she out-cleared me, I still beat the crap out of her, you know? Like, I out-traded her, regardless of fighting into minions at one point or another. And look at this tower damage. She's already taken 1,000 damage to her tower. And she's getting pressured right here. And when you get pressured, it's a little bit harder now because the tower buff came through. And towers actually hurt now. But when people get pressured, look at this. She was forced to back, and now she just loses her tower because of it. And I don't even get punished for it. Even though this map is super tiny, she still can't get back here in time. She just now has a Transcendence online. So think of this game from her POV, right? She's only been able to get her own blue buff as a hunter with mannequins, which hunters with mannequins usually aren't used to that sort of thing. They're used to having pressure. So think about it from her POV. She's supposed to have pressure, at least in her mind. She doesn't have pressure to a measly little mage. No way she kills me here, so I'm just going to backpedal and do that. She's supposed to have pressure. She doesn't have pressure. She's getting beat up by a mage in the early game. She's just now getting her stacking item online. You know, an item that you have to stack up to get its full effectiveness later on. She's stacking her item for late game. You know, like, it's not as bad as like a Devos would be early. But still, it's a stacking item. She's trying to scale into the late game. And she's lost her tower at 5 minutes. Like, that's crazy, man. Olorun does so much damage. Look at this. And more importantly than my damage, boys, look at my health. I'm not taking damage because I have double defense, you know, counting mannequins. Because mannequins is only 10 prot, yeah, but early game and in general, 10 prot is a lot. And that's not even combining the fact that on top of that 10 prot, you also have an attack speed slow. So those two things together, Olorun having a really good damage and healing. While the healing's not a ton, it's still worth mentioning. This character might not be the highest DPS ever, but it's high DPS in combination with the fact that they cannot kill you. You're an immobile god, so usually characters like this get picked on, but he can kind of just stand his ground. And if she decides to fight me here, I'm completely okay with that. She has tier 2 defense. But I have a shell and an immense pressure. I'm actually losing the trade slightly at that moment, but you'll see I actually win the trade in the grand scheme of things. I tried to knock her up. Oh, yeah, she's dead. GG. GG. This character's early game is absolutely insane, guys. It's absolutely insane. What I think I'm going to do here, since he surrendered so early, is I think I'm going to continue the recording and try my best to get into another game and also get Olorun, and then I'm going to clip the recording. Dang, it would be a max Q too. But then I'm going to clip the recording afterwards and make it to where it's a two-parter, you know? I don't know how clean the skip is going to be, but I'll see you guys in the next game. Hopefully, if we get into a next game, and I'll show you guys another early game Olorun. Alright, boys, welcome back. I don't know how smooth that transition will be because, you know, I'm a little new YouTube Andy or whatever, and I don't do editing. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Literally, all I'm going to do is just go into YouTube Studio and just cut out the in-between time from last game to this one. And, you know, hope that's fine, yeah? We'll see. Either way, on to our next victim, our next player. This matchup's actually way better because it's just a higher tier hunter in general, but Medusa just kind of capitalizes on picking on immobile characters because her ult is an amazing slow. And her root combo with her 1 actually just decimates people. So I'm definitely going to have to play this one a little bit more afraid. Not so much just out pressuring go crazy, but we'll see. It all just depends on how she plays it as well. Because Medusa is also a very high tier pressure pick as well as Olorun. Wow, and oh, okay, they walked into it anyways. All good. So this is a pretty good example, I think it should be, is that, you know, most people know the kind of damage Medusa can output, right? So most people know. Maybe you don't play Duel a lot, but you watch Duel, whatever. You could just guess because you know how much damage that character's doing. long story short, she has a lot of pressure in the early game. So if I can out-pressure her, you know, that goes to prove my point a little bit about how much damage this character really can do early. And more importantly, how much damage this character can take early game. We can invade here. This feels terrible if you're the Medusa in this situation when you're just getting invaded and you have to leave the buff behind. So she actually gets away. That was a very good play on her part to escape right there. A lot of lesser players would definitely get caught out there and have to beads, but she recognized what was going down, and she loses her blue off of it though. So unless she steals my blue in return, which she doesn't seem to be trying to because she doesn't have as much clear as I do. Unless she steals my blue in return, it kind of sucks for her. Even though she wasted my ult, she made me waste my ult, it's not actually a waste because I got pressure, I got camps. I mean, we just got all 4 camps on a Medusa with an early game starter. I understand it's the same starter as me, but I benefit more from the starter because I have. Dang. I benefit more from the starter because it's physical defense, whereas the physical defense isn't doing a whole lot for her. Normally I don't go Chalice early, I just try to rush the ring, but in this situation, I think it's probably fine. It's probably okay, we'll see. It depends on how much gold I have before red comes up. If I remember, I'll let you guys know whether I think that Chalice was a good play or not. Either way, it's not going to be drastically bad, it's just semi-bad. Semi-bad. Missing a couple autos here. We do have the health chalice, so obviously it was the right play. Now we'll see. We do have the health chalice. I don't think she'll know exactly when my ult comes up. You know, who pays attention to ult timers that aren't just the default 90 seconds, right? Alright, so we cleared. We can back and have plenty of time to make it to this red buff. Since we got so much gold from all the buffs we did, we can get both the health chalice and a ring with no issue. Like, as far as, you know, you don't want to be in that awkward spot where you have enough gold to upgrade your item and you really want to upgrade that item, but it's around the time red comes up, so you have a decision to make. Do you back and buy your item that's going to make you go crazy? Or do you stay with all that gold in hand in an awkward position and defend the red? Thankfully, I did not have to make that choice. So, and long story short, the health chalice was fun. She's building pretty traditional, pretty normal. The only difference here is sometimes people like to go gilded on hunters nowadays, but that's more of like I only see like really good players going gilded. Not to say this guy's not good. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea who he is. So he might be the best player in the world or the worst player. Who knows? But usually it's only the like good players go gilded. Everyone else kind of just default goes mannequins, and because it's usually just fine, give or take. I think I have time to get this and contest the blue. Hopefully, I'm not wrong about that. This is an interesting situation because she tried to like catch me off guard and one-shot me, I guess. Which, to be fair, that's what Medusa does do, but it's a lot harder to do that sort of thing when you're behind and you don't have the red buff. Usually Medusa has pressure and she's like a level up with her red buff and in a really good spot. Probably has more transcendence stacks than she does now. And so she can kind of just one-shot you at level 3, one-shot you at any stage of the game. But since she's behind and I have mannequins and a heal, and I force her to run away a bit with my ult, she kind of just can't do that to me. It's just not that simple. There's a lot more thought process that goes into it than the usual just me Medusa, me dash on you, press 1. If I land my 1 autos, you lose. Period. That's usually how Medusa gameplay kind of goes down. Medusa did get nerfed not that long ago. Maybe a couple months back, but it really wasn't a huge nerf. It was a decent nerf, you know, it wasn't any kind of, well, now they do 10 less damage like high-res usually does. It was a decent nerf to her attack speed on the 1, I believe, but still, overall, the same character. She's just simply getting out-pressured because my character is just so brain-dead. It's so brain-dead, man. You just run it down. Look at this. To be fair, a lot of characters can do Bull Demon early, but can a lot of characters take this little damage doing Bull Demon? Maybe, but I wanna proc my Ring of Hecate on her, however you pronounce that, and then walk away. Sometimes, as Olorun, because you don't have an escape, sometimes your best option is to just try to mitigate their damage by applying the attack speed slow from mannequins and the power debuff from Ring of Hecate or Hecate or whatever it is. You just want to mitigate their damage because you can't really get away from it. You know, you can't outrun their damage. I have ult here. I don't think she recognizes that. Yeah, I do not think she recognized that one bit. We're gonna use this to make her juke, hopefully. Oh, I tried to get her to juke into me. I probably could have killed her here, actually, if I chased harder. I don't think mannequins kills. We'll see. I kind of respected her tower too much there because I forgot for like half a second that her tower was disabled. For like half a second there, I paused my chase because I didn't think I could kill her because I didn't want to take too much tower damage, especially after the tower buffs that they did. But turns out the tower was disabled from the Bull Demon that I did, you know. As you can tell, I'm very used to getting Bull Demon this early in the game because I'm used to playing Olorun all the time. Ha ha ha. LOL emoji. Just kidding. I never play Olorun. I never play characters that just run it down this hard early game. But we are right now for YouTube. I don't know what I want. I think I'm just gonna go Horrific. I think Horrific's just my best play here. It's either Horrific or Sprint, but Horrific makes him do even less damage. You know, these two items combined with Horrific, it's just so much of an attack speed slow, damage debuff, power debuff. Like, there's just so many elements to this sort of build that's just so strong. It's so strong. You don't even have to play perfectly. You just kind of play it halfway decent, and you're fine. You can make some misplays. I mean, hell, you can even die early game in a lot of matchups. As long as you don't die too many times. You can even die early and still be fine. We are trading so well with her, dude. But anyways, assuming I correctly put these videos together and, you know, you're watching a two-parter video here. Once again, as you can see, they're in a position where they are so far behind, so early in the game, and I'm pressuring their Phoenix already. It's so silly. It's so silly, man. It's so silly. I've lost so many times, especially as melee characters. When you play melee gods into Olorun, depending on which one, you know, some have easier times than others, but if you're playing melee characters into a good Olorun player who spaces himself relatively well, it feels miserable, man. It feels awful. I don't think he'll chase me here. If he does, though, I just turn around and ult, and I'm perfectly fine, so we'll see. Not really landing any autos here. Now we're landing autos, because he finally started standing still. Alright, I'm going to act like I'm going to BDK here, and then start backing. Yeah, I think... I was trying to look over the wall there. I think he took the bait and thought that I was contesting BDK, which means he'll stop his back. Which means one of two things. He's either going to go to BDK, see I'm not on it, and continue backing. Or he's going to immediately just run away. And go to the mid lane like this. I guess there's three options, actually. He could have also pulled BDK, but when you're... It's kind of risky to do that because you thought in your head, like, hey, they might be at Bull Demon right now. Let me go check. You go check, and then you find out right then and there, hey, this person did not go to Bull Demon. They actually did back, which means you started your Bull Demon, and that person is already halfway there, right? I don't know why he didn't dash at me. Part of me wants to think that maybe he dashed to get there. Like, maybe he dashed just to show up in time. She actually has crit right now. She does a ton of damage to me. And she's getting fairly decent RNG. This is huge for us. She did sprint. I don't think we'll be able to catch her. No. Now I have two major options here. I can either go for Bull Demon immediately. Like, I could definitely get Bull Demon if I just ran straight there. But then I have the potential of giving her the experience from both red and blue. And I also wouldn't have the buff. They would have the buff. So I'm going to make a different decision here. Could be better, could be worse. We will find out. We're just going to go Demonic. I might overcap attack speed with this build. It depends if I need Toxic or not. Maybe I just build Divine, I don't know. But even if you do overcap, like when you pop your 2, I mean, I'm not going to overcap without my 2. But even if you do overcap with your 2, I still think that's perfectly fine. A lot of people will tell you that's really bad. I completely disagree. Overcapping on CDR and pretty much any stat, honestly, as long as it's not too much and you're not losing too much value from other items by doing it, it's really not nearly as bad as people try to make it out to be. It's really not. Alright, so I'm assuming she has beads up and no sprint. So I have my ults. If she beads my ult, I can use my horrific on her is the thought process here. She's going to wait for her cooldowns to come up and then try to burst me around the corner. That's her 2 as well, I would imagine.
Can't stand the heat of the savannah.
This is a very interesting situation. Alright, that's her beads. And I have to wait for her to ult as well, which she did. And we just chase. This part's pretty self-explanatory. Now she's just trying to buy time, I would assume, / die to the Phoenix. But no matter how this ends, I'm okay with it. She went to clear the wave, that's fine. No matter how that ended, I'd be okay with it. I can either go to Bull Demon here, or I can push with the wave. I think either one would be fine. I think I can get... If I got Bull Demon, and even if I backed and waited for her to respawn, meaning she had time to defend, I would still be able to get this. So no matter what decision I make, I'm going to decide to tank this a little bit for my minions here. In hindsight, definitely unnecessary to do that. But it's not the worst thing ever either. So there, we got that. Now here, she basically only has 2 options. She can either go for she can go for Bull Demon, or she can chase me. Most people just chase. Going for Bull Demon wouldn't do much of anything for her. You know what? We're going to do this. Shoguns doesn't give a ton of magic prot. So we're going to do this. This build has 0 pin in it so far, if you're not paying attention. This build has no pin. I'm building a Rod Tahuti right now, which is going to give me more attack speed. You know, again, making me overcap on attack speed a bit. That's fine. That's totally fine. It's going to give me more attack speed when my 2 is down. It's going to give me more power for my passive. You know, this little thing here. I don't even know what my free mouse button is right now. I changed it. It's going to make that 26 turn into a higher number, which is going to give me even more crit chance. Looks like she's going for blue. I really wasn't paying much attention to that, but that's also totally fine. We're actually going to finish mannequins before Rod. Most items... Yeah, at this stage of the game, I think regardless of what you decided to build, I'm pretty sure you always finish your mannequins here. Mannequin's mace is just simply too good. It's just too good. Damn, I'm kind of getting a headache right now. I've been playing for a while. Not too long, but I also had like a long conversation with someone in a Discord call earlier, and it was like one of those conversations where you're like, I know, right? And you're just like talking about stupid stuff and just agreeing on everything and kind of just like ranting. So I was talking about how your day is going, you know? It was one of those. So like, I was kind of just like really excited the whole time is what I'm trying to say. So from talking so much and so fast, you know, from recording, but mainly that 1 hour long conversation, I have a headache, dude. I have a headache. I'm going to try not to let that hinder the video, but you know, I thought it's worth mentioning that my head is absolutely throbbing right now. I think as long as we don't get crit 45 times in a row and just eat it all, we're perfectly fine here. We got to get our attack speed slow on her first. From the I just realized I forgot I have haste. That was a good juke by her. As you can tell, we just do an absolute absurd amount of damage. Look at this damage. We're just front dooring the Titan. And while this is kind of scummy... Oh, I guess it's not scummy now because he died. Look at how long it takes this Titan to kill me. I'm not trying to be toxic towards this Medusa right now. I'm just showing you guys exactly the situation here. This character snowballs his absolute brains out. It's so brain dead. It's easy to use. The character only gets banned, at least in my games, like maybe 30% of the time. So it's just a free character to just play all day long, get all your MMR, and then quit Duel if that's what you want to do. You know, you just want the ranking and then you're going to quit. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope that this two-parter thing goes the way I want to. Maybe I'll start doing more of these in the future when it's hard to get games. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Bye-bye.